Hello YouTube! Today we're going to be talking about the G-Shock GW-9110, also known as the Gulfman. First things first, I want to talk about price. So this watch cost me just north of $200, and that's not including shipping and handling or taxes. It's a little bit high on the price scale, but you're paying a premium because it is a Master G watch, as well as I think this specific model. Well, I think the Gulfmen in general are discontinued from Casio. I don't think they're producing them anymore. So whatever Gulfmen are out there in the market, those are the only ones left. And I think this specific model is getting rarer each day. But yeah, first impressions of this watch. I love the way it looks. You know, I was a little bit hesitant to buy it at first because I didn't like the way it looked in the pictures. It almost looked kind of like a toy, something like a middle schooler would wear. But one thing I'm learning about G-Shocks is G-Shocks look way better in person than they do in pictures. And that is the case with this watch. Let's take a look at the side. Here's the back, and if you can see it, it looks like it's the Gulfman mascot. It looks like a turtle with a satellite dish coming out of its shell, holding some type of broom. That's what it looks like to me. I don't really know what it is exactly. I'm just gonna say it's a broom. Yeah. But yeah. Cost, you know, if you're new to the G-Shock collecting game, you better get used to seeing prices above $200, because some of these G-Shocks get way up there in price. And make sure that you are prepared for the addiction, because I promise you it does not end. But yeah, so anyways, another thing I was impressed with this watch was the packaging, which this is what it came in. So it comes in this cardboard box with G-Shock and Master G on it, which I love. I love the G-Shock red. You know, it's like so tacky that it's classy again. And then inside that box you get the instruction manual in here, and then this watch box, which it almost feels like it's covered in leather. I'm sure it's not real leather, like I'm sure it's like a faux leather, but it still feels and looks real sleek, real classy. And then inside the box it comes wrapped around this pillow. I'm gonna call this a watch pillow. I don't know if there's like a actual name for these things. But yeah, it comes packaged in something that I would expect from a luxury watch company, not from G-Shock. Because what I'm used to from G-Shock are either some crappy cardboard box, like some janky cardboard box, or the standard G-Shock 10. Which, there's nothing wrong with the G-Shock 10s. I love those. I love those little metal tins. I love collecting them. But this was a pleasant surprise. I really felt like Casio went above and beyond with this. And I don't think you would get this packaging if you ordered the Gulfman for the American market. I believe this is only for the Japanese market Gulfman. I could be completely wrong. I'm just acting like I know what I'm talking about, but I'm like 40% sure that this is only for the Japanese market. But back to the watch. So as you already saw, tough solar. You know, I've never had an issue with the battery. I think it was like, so for the battery, you've got L, M, and H standing for low, medium, and high. I don't think this battery has ever been anything lower than H. Like, if you can see right there, the indicator right there. Like I think it was at M for a second, but you know, walked outside. I was outside in the sun for like 30 minutes and then went back up to H, and it has never been anything other than H. And it's got a power saver mode, which is great. So, you know, if you don't use it, and I believe at nighttime it'll shift to power saver mode, so it'll just shut off and until it senses light or movement, and then it'll come back on again. But yeah, no issues with the battery. And as far as functions go, standard G-Shock functions. You've got your tide function, which I never use, but it's there. World time, alarm, stopwatch, timer. The only two functions I ever use are stopwatch and timer, but they work flawlessly. I have no issues with them. And then if you hit this button right here, you get to the get screen, which, if you didn't know, this watch has the multi-band 6 function, which means that it receives radio signals for time syncing. So if you get to the get screen, it'll tell you that at 3:04 in the morning on July 27th, this watch synced up with the closest radio tower. I don't know where it is, but you never have to worry about setting the time. It'll always be dead on. As far as comfort and ergonomics, this is an extremely comfortable watch. One of my pet peeves with watches is when you wear it, you know, any kind of hand motion, inadvertently hitting the buttons. I hate that, and you don't have to worry about that with this watch. Like, I'm a very physical person. I go to the gym a lot, and you know, whenever I'm doing push-ups or bench press, you know, I never have to worry about accidentally hitting these buttons. And as far as the buttons go, you know, very comfortable to push. They're not like, if you have any experience with the G-Shock Mudman, they are definitely nothing like that. Because the Mudman, you gotta, like, you will feel your pecs flex when you're hitting the Mudman buttons. But with this, that is not the case. They're very easy to push, but they're also protected well enough to where, you know, they're not going to get pushed inadvertently. And weight, I don't know what the exact weight and dimensions of this watch is, but the frame is made out of titanium, so very light. Personally, I prefer watches with some heft to it because, you know, I'm not a skinny guy. I'm 250 pounds. I like to have a watch that I can feel on my wrist. But for those of you that prefer a watch that is very light, you know, you'll enjoy this watch. Yeah, that's really all I got to say about this watch. If there's anything I can recommend, it would be, if you are going to get into G-Shock collecting, get this now rather than later, because I don't think this watch is going to get any cheaper. And if you know anything about G-Shocks, if you buy a Master of G Series watch and you just hold on to it and take care of it for 20 years, people are going to pay way more for it 20 years from now than when you originally bought it. As far as an everyday watch, it's an excellent everyday watch. Reliable, light, comfortable. It breathes extremely well. So if you're true to the Gulfman name, it combats humid and wet environments very well. But yeah, there's nothing really else I can say about this watch. All good things. I would give it high 8, low 9 out of 10. And the only reason why is because, you know, it's not the best looking watch. There are watches that I think look way better, but as far as functionality goes, it's a perfect watch. Alright, well, thanks for watching, and tune in for the next G-Shock review.